Hello, everybody. It's Andrew from Mental Game Analytics. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today. And today we have with us Jake Ingham of the OHL Mississauga Steelheads, most recently property of the LA Kings. How are you, Jake?
Yep. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming out today. Let's start out with Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, for sure. Happy Canada Day. Hopefully it was a good night yesterday and a good day and a nice hot day for it too.
You were at a parade or something?
Yeah, we had the Mississauga Steelheads parade yesterday, so it was nice to get out there, see some of the guys, and have a lot of support from our fans. And it was a nice hot day, so you can't really complain.
Awesome. Well, sounds great. So, hey, congratulations, man. Let's give us the highlights of what it's like to attend the NHL draft.
Yeah, it was definitely something special. You kind of get goosebumps almost just talking about it, and it was a cool day. And I was there from the Thursday. Went down and watched day one, and that was a big production. And it was really cool to see all those guys go in the first round, and then kind of going into day two, I knew it was kind of my time, and had to wait a little bit longer than most guys. But I was really happy with where I went and going to LA, and they got me in the sixth round, so I was really thrilled at that point. And it's something you dream about as a little kid, and then getting out there and hearing your name called again, to go down to the stage and putting the hat on the jersey, it's something special for sure.
Sounds pretty awesome. Now, did you have a lot of contact with the Kings organization sort of before? Did you have a heads up at all that was where you were going to end up?
I actually ended up being the first team I ever interviewed with in my 16-year-old year. So, if you kind of think back on it, that was the same thing that happened with me and Mississauga Steelheads. So it's pretty funny how that works, being the two teams that talked to me first and then being the two teams that drafted me. So, I didn't really have too much heads up. I saw they drafted a guy earlier in the previous draft, so I wasn't too sure what was going to happen there. And then, I talked to them at the combine and talked to them before the combine. So, I kind of had a good idea, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was in my top three that I thought was going to take me for sure.
Okay, interesting. So how does it feel in general? Like you said, this pretty big goal a couple of years back, and to sort of apply yourself and work hard and reach that goal. How does it feel? It must feel great.
Yeah, it feels great. There's tons of hard work to still go in that, but it's nice to sometimes just sit back and relax and kind of take it all in. And if you don't absorb it and really take it in, it feels like it won't settle in at any time. So I've kind of sat back and think about being drafted into the NHL, and that's pretty special in itself. So it's been something great for me, and my family was really happy, and all the dedication that they put in as well for me. But it's something really cool, and that smile, I'm not sure if it's gone off my face quite yet.
Is there anybody specifically you'd like to thank? Like, I know you've got a great support network behind you, and some great coaches. Anybody specific you'd like to thank?
Yeah, my goalie coach in Mississauga, Ryan Daniels, and he really helped me throughout the season. And we kind of struggled, and I struggled throughout the season. He helped me stay positive and bringing you into the situation and really helping me out. And I'm really thankful for that, and just kind of giving me an outlet to talk to. And obviously my parents coming down to all my games still, but before driving me to all my games and cooking me all my meals and then making me feel like a pro. So it's something that a lot of people have helped me with, but there's a lot of people I can thank, but those are probably the ones I'd list off right away. And my other coaches in Mississauga, just being really good moral support and really helping us out, and being there for me in tough times too.
No, that's great. So just to set the context, Jake and I have worked together the last couple of years. I've sort of been helping Jake work on the mental side of his game. And if you're interested in creating your own mental game analytics profile, you can go to www.satorum.com and click on mental game assessment and training, or you can follow the links below. Now, in this interview today, I just wanted to explore sort of the path, Jake, that you've taken in your development. So I think some of the younger players listening to this will, can learn from some of the things you've done well, and maybe also learn from some of the things you haven't done quite as well, and No point in making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah,
You've already
yeah,
made
for
something
sure.
of others.
Yeah.
But in particular, I wanted to talk about the mental side of hockey and sort of the role that that plays in the kind of the crafting of an NHL caliber prospect, because I think it's really sort of underappreciated and undervalued. So Jake, when you and I started working together, one of the first things that we did was we had you complete our online mental game analytics assessment tool. Now,
Yeah.
at that time, were you aware that you could use a sort of a tool like this to compare yourself to NHL goalies and sort of, figure out where you're on track and where you're off?
No, I wasn't too sure what it was going to do. And, it was an assessment, kind of multiple choice almost. And, you're not really too sure. You're just trying to answer it as open and as honest you can. And you don't really know what the answers will be or what the outcome will be. But it was great to know that NHL goalies and that have done it. So you kind of get the opportunity to compare yourself and kind of put yourself on a quick measuring stick with them.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. And had you sort of, at that point in time, you're sort of, I guess you're in your rookie year. What have you been exposed to in your development around the mental side? Was it?
Yeah, there wasn't too much, especially just being my first year of the league. There's a mental health awareness and that, but it wasn't really anything about the game mentally and that. So it was good to have you come in and get a good chat with me and have a good talk. And, it really helped me and kind of put stuff back into perspective. But for sure, there wasn't, I wouldn't say there's too much. And, everyone talks about it being a mental game, but, there's not really much help or resources out there unless you kind of go out and do it yourself.
Yeah, not much in terms of specifics. So what I want to do is maybe just walk the viewers through some of the aspects of your mental game profile, just so we can highlight sort of some of the things that are really pervasive in successful goalies kind of thing. So when we look at Jake's mental game profile, we're comparing him to NHL goalies, and one of the things that really jumps off the page is Jake has got a very high compete level. So he's actually 3% more competitive than the average NHL goalie. I don't know if you knew that or not, Jake.
Yeah.
But how does that show up for you? So this high compete level that you've got, and I know you're a guy who hates to lose, but how do you think that benefits you?
Yeah, I think it benefits you in a lot. Like, like you said, not liking to lose, but that starts in practice and that. So, having that compete and drive in practice and not wanting to let anyone score, having that compete and drive in the gym too, and just trying to do more reps and, not trying to get out repped by anyone. So, and that translates into a game when you've done it enough. And, as we talk about trying to make those desperation saves or just never giving up on yourself or never giving up on the teammates or anything. And, just having that fire within you and, have that snap a little bit. And it came out a couple of times during the season last year. And so, it's going to be there and it's always going to be there. But, you can't really plant fire in somebody. You can tone it down. But, some people don't like that quality or characteristic. But, it's kind of who I am. And, it's always going to be there. And I think it really helps me compete and kind of do whatever I can to keep the puck out of the net.
It's definitely one of the things that we see with goalies who make it all the way. They have this compete level that you have. So it's
Yeah.
an interesting correlation. The second thing that really jumps off the page for you is dedication. So
Yeah.
just, I know that from working with you, you're the kind of guy who's just willing to do what it takes. You understand what it takes. You're willing to sacrifice. You're highly dedicated to your craft. Just tell us a little bit about that. How does that show up for you in your sort of your development regime?
Yeah, dedication's huge. And, it's kind of giving up a couple TV shows or a couple video games, some guys like to play or, a couple movies at night just to get a good night's sleep. And, some people might not think that's important, but, a big thing during the season is kind of getting rested up and kind of preparing your body in that. So, it's stretching at night before you go to bed, kind of getting your stretches in and keeping your body loose and keeping your hips loose and that. So that's some of the stuff, but, it's just getting to the rink and kind of going through the same regime. And as you said, kind of getting a schedule or a routine. And, that helps a lot of guys, but, some guys like to get to the rink and just kind of go on the ice. And so it's kind of just separating yourself like that and kind of having yourself have that routine like we were talking about and just kind of doing what other people don't want to, I'd say. And, you have a goal of what you want to complete. And so, kind of getting by and kind of skipping corners isn't really going to help you complete that goal.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the keys to your success. I don't know if you knew or not, you're 30% more dedicated than even the average NHL goalie. So another critical pillar of development success. Now, the third one I want to talk about is coachability, and I think this is probably your greatest strength, in that you're open to feedback, willing to sort of accept accountability for your own development. And then on top of that, you're willing to take what you learn and put it into action to actually improve your game.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about, your take on the importance of coachability and sort of listening to those around you and building, what you learn into your game on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think a coachability is probably one of the biggest aspects. You're surrounded by coaches, and some teams might have 7 coaches. You have your assistant coach and your head coach, and you might have 3 assistant coaches, and you have your video coaches and your goalie coaches, and you have your defense coordinators, offense coordinators, and that. So it's almost getting like football. There's a lot of coaches in that, but it's being able to listen to feedback, not get upset about getting ripped or getting told to do something. Obviously you might be doing something wrong, so you gotta learn and kind of take it. Sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt at times too. So you kind of take what you learn from your coaches. And I think a big thing for me was I'm always really open when it comes to feedback and that, because you can't stop everything. But if somebody can help you kind of make that next save or make one more save, you should always listen to them and respect their thoughts. And, I find I can really quickly translate that into my game if it's something I feel is really important, or the coach has really been telling me about it. And, we kind of get to practice and he kind of demonstrates it. And, I feel like I can really pick up on it fastly. So I think that's one of the aspects I have, is just kind of learning it quickly and kind of getting it down pat. So I think like you said, coachability is pretty important. And, I've been able to work it into my game and kind of work it into my personality really well. And, you're always going to have coaches going up your career, and they're obviously just there to help you, and they want to make the team win. So it's just kind of taking what they're giving you and kind of trying to complete it and kind of implement it into your game.
I can see that. Yeah, you're the kind of guy who's always looking for ways to get better, and actually 15% more coachable than the average NHL goaltender. So way to go! And just
thank you.
As an example of how coachable Jake is. So when Jake and I first started working together, it was I think about 2 months into your rookie season, and when we first met, I got some stats here. You were sporting a .472 with an .826 save percentage. So kind of, I guess, struggling in your first couple of months.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a huge jump jumping into the O, and so definitely an adjustment period that we see there. But so you and I went through basically our mental game advanced training program. With the program, I don't know if you knew this or not, but your next start was your first career shutout.
Yeah.
Your next 8 starts, you had a .925 and a .191, which was good enough to get you voted goaltender of the year in January. So,
yeah,
just a testament to Jake's coachability. He really soaked up what we discussed, built it into his game, and it had an immediate, I would say, pretty dramatic impact. So, just coachability is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that stretch where you really kind of caught on fire there in your rookie year? Do you remember that stretch, Jake?
Yeah, I remember it. It was pretty amazing, and I don't think I ever got to a point where I was going into any games thinking, I'm this kid play really well. But I think I was going into every game just hoping to have a good, solid outing and kind of get my feet wet quickly in the game and kind of just get myself balanced. And we had a really good team too, so kind of getting it, kind of keeping it solid for the boys. And then once the boys kind of picked it up and got going, we were a pretty tough team to beat. And I got down to a .268 and a .907 from that .472. So kind of going into that stretch, statistics they're important to the game in that, but at the same time you can't really base it off everything. But I thought being sub 4 would be impossible, just kind of how everything was going. And you don't want to get too negative in your head, but it was definitely tough for me to look at my stats and kind of asking myself, like, how can I change these and how can I do it this fast? And it's something you just kind of have to step back and let your play control.
at the end of the day, you guys rolled into the OHL final that year. So
Yeah, for sure.
That was an exciting year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just in terms of the the mental side of the game. So our mental game analytics program is great at highlighting strengths and what players are doing well. Or really, I think the critical part, or the critical part, is to use these tools to highlight development opportunities or blind spots or things that you maybe aren't doing so well at compared to NHL goaltenders, and then being able to sort of take accountability for developing weaknesses.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk briefly about sort of one of the things that maybe you struggle more with, because I see it as a theme through a lot of younger goaltenders, and that is just a tendency to, either get upset with yourself or to get worried when something goes wrong. So, I mean, basically the way it works with elite athletes is they're very critical. They really want to get better, and you're no different.
Yeah.
A lot of players struggle when something does go wrong, and they really, it shows up for a lot of players as a negative sort of self-talk, negative soundtrack. Can you tell us, maybe talk a little bit about, how we came to the bottom of that and what we put in place to help you get over that?
Yeah, we had those kind of resets almost. Say if his goal goes in, that's kind of when it gets negative. And, obviously negative talk is something that kind of happens all the time in every sport. And, I'm sure everyone's done it at a certain point. But, being hypercritical of yourself and kind of holding yourself to a high pinnacle, it's obviously it's going to be there in that. And, I think I'm a bad not a victim to it, but, I did it a lot to myself. So it's just kind of getting out of your head a little bit and kind of stepping back and realizing, instead of talking negative, why don't you just say, you know what, that's a good shot, could be a good shot, or let's look at the jumbotron, let's see how that went in, and make an adjustment from there, instead of just saying like something that'll just put you down or kind of make you even diminish your confidence. So taking a different approach, like we said, and deep breaths and that, and having a regime to get out of it, that's really important.
Awesome. No, that's great. And I think that's something that, younger goalies can certainly learn from, is to have some sort of a in-the-moment reset mechanism that can allow you to drop a mistake or a bad play and move on with the rest of the game. So just in terms of the next question here, just for players with, who have elite level physical skills like yourself, like I know you're a guy who's pretty well known for killing it at combines and doing well in the physical side of the game. As you sort of advance in your career and move up through the O and talk about how important the mental side of the game becomes. I mean, maybe it's not as important earlier in the year or earlier in your career, but as everybody who's moving up is an elite physical athlete, just talk about the importance of developing the mental side of your approach to the game.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's talented. Everybody's kind of gifted to a certain extent. Everybody's working hard, and everybody wants to make it to the next level. And when you're younger, nobody's really looking to do it as a career. You're just quite yet, and everybody's just kind of out there having fun. And it's kind of just go to the rink or go to the backyard pond, and just kind of stuff like that. It's not really looking to be a career, but when you get to your first NHL development camp, it's like showing up for your first day of work, pretty much. And it's a job. Everybody wants to make a career out of it there, and it's pretty tough, because if you're not the best, you're probably not going to play in the NHL on that. So you want it to be your job in that. So it's really serious. And as you're talking about combines and stuff like that, that's I think that's one thing that you can really do to separate yourself. And after the season ended, I had a long time to worry about the combine and kind of get myself physically prepared and that for it. So just that's one thing. I think working away from the rink is a big thing, and it's one thing that you can actually do just to better yourself. And when you translate it back onto the ice, it's going to help you, and you're getting stronger and getting bigger is going to help you too. So some guys are like, oh, it's off ice testing, like how does a bench press or how does a 5-10-5 gonna help you on the ice and that. And you know what, it's just kind of showing what you have and that you're athletic, and that, and it can only really help you. So kind of using that and getting to the best of your ability, and that could potentially make you faster skater, make you a better player, and it can kind of get you past and kind of just get you past that threshold you need to keep you going and keep you getting paid, So I think that's a big thing. And, it's one thing that you can, sometimes you can show up and have a bad game and stuff like that. But, in the gym, it's kind of hard to show up and have a bad day doing a lift. So it's something that's pretty repetitive and pretty consistent. So, kind of getting that down pat and continuing to work out that, I think that's a big thing.
Awesome. That sounds great. So just let's do a little bit of a throwback here. So back to sort of 13, 14, 15-year-old Jake Ingham.
Yeah.
You could give that former version of yourself a piece of advice from where you're at now. What would it be?
I'd probably say stick with it. There's a point where going into my last 2 seasons, I wasn't sure if I was going to play baseball or play hockey and try and go the distance with that. And, I had to make a decision. I had my OHL draft year coming up kind of in 2 years. And, I was a pretty good ball player at the time. So I was kind of thinking about going baseball way too. So, you know what, I'm really happy I stuck with hockey. And, I think kind of dropping baseball and giving myself the best opportunity to become a professional hockey player was a big thing for me, and it really helped me. So, went on to have a really good major bantam year and minor midget year, and kind of get myself taken the second round of the OHL draft. So, it's something I wouldn't regret. But at the same time, I'd probably say when tough times are getting tough, you gotta stay with yourself, and you got yourself there, and obviously you can play in the league and you have the talent in that. So you just got to stay with it and protect your confidence. I'd say, I'd say never let somebody take your confidence away from you. And I think that's one of the biggest things as a young goalie too. And, some people, they like to try and take your confidence, or they like to get in your head, but you know what, you have to protect that. And, you're at your best and you're confident and you're playing strong and you're playing big. And, I think confidence is a big game. And, I think I a little bit lacked that a little bit this year. So, I'd probably say that to myself, is just never let anyone take anything away from you. And you know what, you got to this point, so keep going.
And it's a long journey to get from where you've been into the NHL. And
Yeah.
I think, you just hit the nail on the head. You've got to be resilient. You've got to keep coming back. Things are not always going to go to plan. I mean, even this year, it was, some ups and downs, and
Yeah.
You get into some periods where things are going well, and then some periods where things are not going so well. Just talk a little bit more about the resilience that you have to bring day to day, and just to keep things on track.
Yeah, especially in off year like this for me. And you want it to be your best year going into a draft, and you want to be selected high, and you want to be highly doubted by the scouts. And it's something cool to have that. But for me, didn't really have that this year, and kind of had an off year. So you kind of look back at your previous seasons, and I feel like I've been pretty good in my last couple of seasons, and even going back into minor hockey. So it's something I'm looking forward to getting into the season next year, and kind of getting back on and proving myself, and getting myself back as number one kind of range for the goalies in the OHL, and kind of getting myself back in that territory, and almost getting respect back, if you'd say so. But it's something that you just have to stick with, and you can't control what's in the past. So you kind of close the chapter on last year, and you take what you need to learn from it, and you bring it into next year, and you kind of make sure that season kind of won't happen again. And I take a lot of blame for it, because when you play as many games as I did, and you didn't show up, I'd say almost a lot of the time, and you just couldn't get back and couldn't get into the game, or just couldn't get yourself going. And the boys need you to be going. So it's something that happens, and it happens, and you guys will have kind of roses all their whole career until they get to the NHL, and then stuff will start to happen there, and maybe they don't know how to deal with it. So I've talked to a lot of people about it, and it's a learning experience, and to have a little bit of thorns already. So I know what I had to do, and as I said, being resilient was one of the biggest things for me this whole season. It was obviously a tough season for myself, and just being resilient really helped me, and it really brought me through the season and kind of got me here. And getting out to development camp in LA and showing very well was a big thing, and kind of just closing that chapter and pushing it and getting towards next year.
It's funny. It's like you almost need that adversity to push you to be better. If everything went to schedule all the time, you wouldn't have that
No, for sure.
push it and get better. So
Yeah.
just looking forward to next season. How are you feeling about the OHL year coming up?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've this off season's killing me. It's already been happening for almost 3 months. So since the end of March, and we're just starting July. So kind of about a month and a bit, kind of month and almost 2 months until we're down in Mississauga getting development camp, main camp going, and I'm excited to see the guys, and I'm excited to see our team next year. And we're losing a lot of our top guys, but I know we have a good rookie core, and they did a good job with us last year. So I'm excited to see those guys and the steps they're going to make into taking higher roles and bigger expectations for themselves.
Awesome. Hey, Jake, thanks for taking the time to chat with me, and I hope it's been helpful to the viewers here, and I look forward to working with you again next year.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Andrew.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too.